Welcome to Myths, Legends and Conspiracies, where we look at all things magic and mysterious in the world. I am your narrator, Niall, and today in our Irish Folklore series, we are looking at the legend of the Children of Lir. This story is set at the end of the time of the Tuatha De Danann, the ancient gods of Ireland, and the rise of the Milesians, who were the first Celtic people of the island. There came a time when a king was to be elected in Ireland, and a good man and powerful Druid named Bodb Derg was chosen. Lir was his rival and was not happy that he was passed over to be king. He did not swear loyalty to the new king, and for a time there was much trouble on the island. When Lir's wife died, Bodb Derg arranged for his daughter Eve to marry Lir, bringing him into the family and ending the times of trouble between them. Eve and Lir were very happy together, and had 4 children, a girl named Fionnuala, and 3 sons, Eid, Fiachra and Con. During the last birth, Eve sadly died. Lir was broken with grief, but took comfort from his great love for their children. The children grew and were a joy to their father Lir and grandfather Bob. In time, Bodb Derg's second daughter, Aoife, was wed to Lir. She had designs upon Lir, and was not happy that his love for his children was greater than his love for her. Her jealousy drove her to extreme acts, even pretending to be deathly ill for an entire year. The darkness of jealousy infected Aoife completely, and one spring day she took the children on a trip, intending to kill them while on the road. She stopped their wagon at Loch Darvach, a beautiful lake, and ordered her men to kill the children, but the soldiers refused to do such a terrible thing. Aoife, who was powerful in ancient arts, took matters into her own hands. She told the children to wash in the lake, where she cast a spell of transformation over them. Children's bodies changed shape, spouting feathers, necks growing longer, until the children were replaced with 4 beautiful white swans. Fionnuala, the eldest, fought with Aoife, telling her that she could not keep them like this, and she would suffer vengeance when they were free. A small piece of sympathy grew in Aoife. She said a prophecy for the spell to be broken in 900 years. She made it so the children would not be distressed by their new forms and would come to no harm, and also let the children keep their voices, which they could use to sing sorrowful songs without equal. Aoife left the children at the lake, returning to the court of King Bodb Derg. When Aoife reached her father's court, he asked where his grandchildren were, and she lied, saying Lir did not trust Bob with the children. This made Bob suspicious, as over the years the 2 men had become friends and family. He sent a messenger to Lir. When the messenger arrived, Lir knew that Aoife had done some terrible act. He set out to find his children. Looking all across the land, he came upon the shores of the lake and found 4 swans singing the most beautiful, saddest song Lir had ever heard. When he approached them, the swans called out to their father, telling of Aoife's horrible deed. Lir cried out in grief for his poor children. They told him that the curse bade them stay on the lake for 300 years, then another 300 in the storms of the north, 300 more at the lakes of Inishglare. Lir and his people stood vigil by the shores of the lake through the night and into the next day, listening to the haunting lament of the swans, until the children told them to leave. The curse protected the swans from harm, but their father and their people would freeze and starve upon the shore. Reluctantly, Lir left his beloved children, travelling to the court of King Bodb Derg to expose the selfish Aoife. The mighty king raged at his cruel daughter, that she would inflict such horror upon his sweet and innocent grandchildren. He grabbed his druid staff and set a spell upon Aoife to transform her into that which was in her heart. Aoife shapeshifted into a formless, screeching wraith of the wind and flew from the castle to remain that way forever. Bob, Lir, and the rest of the Tuatha all travelled to the lake frequently, and in time the Milesians began to visit the swans too. They all listened to the swan's song together, delighting in its beauty and reflecting in its melancholy. It was during this time that the king proclaimed that no swan should ever be killed in Ireland. After 300 years, it was time for the children to fly to the storms of the north, where they fought against the howling wind and the biting cold, the lashing rain and hail. They often slept upon a great northern lake, where they could only survive the weather by huddling close together. The swans were separated for many years, each contending with their plight alone. But eventually, they found each other again, and after 300 years of misery, they made their way to Loris Doan and encountered Eid and Fergus, descendants of Bodb Derg, who had been searching for them. They decided to visit their father before going to Irish Folklore. However, when they visited their old home, they found it overgrown, abandoned and reclaimed by nature. The swans sang their most sorrowful song in memory of their father and grandfather through the night, and set off the next day for Irish Folklore. Before we finish the story, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is a new channel, and doing this will help ensure that yourself and others will be able to find and enjoy all of the tales we present here. Now back to the story. There were many birds upon the lake of Irish Folklore, and the swans spent many years there in grief. Over the years the land changed, and the way of their people, the Tuatha De Danann, was forgotten. Christians came to the land, building churches and changing the beliefs of the people. 300 years after the swans had arrived at the lake of Irish Folklore, a priest was walking along the shores of the lake and heard the swans singing their mournful lament. The priest could not believe what he was seeing and believed it to be a miracle of God. He called the swans from the lake, and as they stepped upon the land, their feathers began to fall off. Their bodies began to change. Where once there was 4 beautiful swans, now stood 3 decrepit old men and a wretch of an old woman. The 4 waifs were starving thin, hunched over, with greying, blotched skin stretched over bone. They fell together upon the shore of the lake, and holding each other, they each took their last breath. The priest was distraught at seeing the curse lift from the poor wretches, and wanted to give them a respectful burial. He collected the bodies and took them to the church to be waked, asking anyone that he could find if they knew anything of the story of the 4 swans and their song. However, it had been too long, and the memory of the Children of Lir had been forgotten. A foul and screeching wind swept through the trees as the priest laid the bodies of the Children of Lir to rest. He was the only one to mourn for them. The Children of Lir is an important Irish tale teaching the importance of love and family and the destructive nature of jealousy. It also shows how loved ones can help us to get through the tough times in life, and how meaningful it can be just to hold on to the memories we have, as they can be more valuable than we often think. Remember, if you enjoyed this tale, to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you.